What's up, everybody? Your boy Pat back again with another edition of Patrick Unplugged. Today's topic of the day is the Galaxy Flip 5, things that I like, things that I don't like, and some things that surprise me.
This is a Heat Rocks production.
Now, before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell as it helps out the channel. So, when I first started seeing the flips come out a few years ago, they intrigued me. However, there were a lot of things that I didn't like in the beginning. I felt there were flaws or upgrades that needed to be made. One was that outside screen. One was that gap that you had here. You had bad cameras, you had bad batteries. And I was not intrigued until actually the Z Flip 5 to actually make this purchase. So what really made me make the purchase was they got rid of that gap, because there used to be a gap there when you folded the phone, and I thought that was the most ugly thing ever. So this is the first iteration that they came where it actually folds flat. So let's get into some stuff that I liked prior. Besides that, I liked was the screen. I liked that they didn't have this little baby screen anymore. They had a bigger screen. The whole outside essentially was a full screen. So I like that. And then the other thing is they upgraded the cameras, they dropped the price obviously, and they got a bigger battery. So that was prior to me buying this. These were the things that finally intrigued me to purchase this phone. By the way, that's my son. Shout out to my son. So what do I like now about the phone? I will tell you, the best thing about this phone is the portability. Because when you fold this phone, man, this phone is straight. I mean, it's so small. It's not big like an iPhone Pro Max or an S23 Ultra or S24 Ultra now, where these big giant phones. So when you fold this phone, this is my favorite feature of this phone. It is super compact, super small. Could it be thinner? Yes, it could. But because it folds, I really like the fact that I'm able to put this in my pocket and I don't have this big bulge in my pocket, or I know I'm carrying a phone. It's almost like you're putting a wallet in your pocket and you forget about it because it's not imposing as some of the bigger phones are. So that's my number one favorite thing about the phone. The other thing I like about the phone is this outside screen. Now, it's beautiful. You could do a lot of stuff on this screen, right? You could put a lot of different things on this screen. However, I will tell you, in the real world, I've been using this for about 6 weeks now. I really haven't used the outside screen as much. I'm so intrigued to open the phone all the time and start doing stuff here. Now, could I make a more of an effort to use this screen? Yes. I don't know if I'm missing out or it's just I've never really experienced using an outside screen. This is a decent sized screen on the outside. Obviously not as big as this, but I will say that is a great feature. I just haven't used it enough. The other thing that I like about the phone is it folds. I mean, now we talked about the form factor once it is fold, but being able to open this phone up and close it, I mean, you can see the crease, but not really. If you don't really look, you can't see the crease. But this is one of the coolest things about the phone. This is why you buy this phone. This is the number one feature for buying this phone, because it's able to fold. It's really cool, man, to actually fold your phone. And a lot of people look at you and say, yo, did you just fold your phone? Yes. And we can argue back and forth. Is this glass? Is this not glass? You make your own decisions, do your research. However, this is glass, in my opinion. This is glass. So, and just to be able to fold it, even if this wasn't glass, if it was a plastic of some sort, it still folds. Look how many times I'm folding this thing. I mean, you would think this will wear down eventually, but you know, you see a lot of the stories online, but I mean, you're talking 10, 20, 30,000 folds before people are having those issues. Now, if you open your phone that many times in a day, I mean, you shouldn't have, you know, an issue here, at least for a couple, 3, 4 years before that happens. Now, the one thing that I didn't like, right, which I thought I would like, but I didn't like, I thought the battery would be enough. The battery is not. I have to charge this phone at least once a day, maybe twice. Now, I use my phone a lot, but this battery is gonna drop really, now it's less than, I think it's 3,900 milliamps. I'm used to the 45, the 5,000 because of the Ultra, which I actually have. I'm filming this on my S23 Ultra right now. That battery is a beast. I can have that battery all day and then some, probably a day, day and a half before I need to charge. So the battery is still a big downgrade for this phone, in my opinion. The average person probably won't have a lot of issues with it, but I did because I use my phone a lot for everything, basically. The other thing that's, if you don't know, you're never gonna know. The screen is amazing, right? This is a Super AMOLED screen by Samsung. They are the leaders in phones when it comes to screen. However, this phone, is amazing as it looks on screen, I will tell you, when I go back to my S23 Ultra, the screen on that is just so much better. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad screen. What I'm saying is, if you know, you know. So if you know the S23 Ultra, if you had experience using that phone, you're gonna immediately be able to see the difference. Now, once again, that doesn't say this is a bad screen. This screen is a really good screen, but there are levels to this, and the S23 Ultra has a better screen in my opinion. I don't do any tests or any factual data, brightness and all. I just go based on real world, and in my opinion, this screen is awesome, but the S23 Ultra is next level. The other thing that I didn't like about this phone was the cameras. So it's really cool that you got this front facing camera. You can use it folded, you can use it open, you can use it halfway if you want. The cameras are good cameras. However, once again, comparing it to the S23 Ultra, it is night and day difference. Now, one thing the Ultra cannot do, it cannot fold. So one of the big reason you buy a foldable phone is because it can fold. So for them to be able to do a foldable phone and have the specs that they have in this phone, under $1,000 is nothing short of amazing. So if you're in the market for a foldable phone, the Flip, in my opinion, was the better phone for me. I did not like the Galaxy Fold because it has more of a candy bar as opposed to a full phone. Now this one, not as wide as a traditional phone, but I actually like this phone, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite phone. The S23 Ultra is. Eventually it'll be the S24 Ultra. But this phone right here, because it's able to flip, open and close, and have that flat fold right there with no gap and be so small in your pocket, is a major, major win. So the other thing that surprised me, now this is weird because I've been a fan of the under the screen screen fingerprints, right? You tap your finger on it, opens the phone. Those things are amazing on the S23 Ultra. However, I will tell you, I have the Whitestone Dome screen protector on it, and sometimes like it doesn't register, and I gotta either like wet my thumb a little bit to make it register, and it's probably because of the screen protector, because I really don't rock phones without screen protectors. I think that you got to be dumb to be putting that much money into something and then not wanting to buy a $20 screen protector. So I will tell you, this phone, I was quite surprised that the fingerprint is actually in the power button here. And I will tell you, this is the best. This is the best phone. Look at that. Let's do it again. Look at that. It just never fails. It is 100% accurate. Now, I will say the under the screen supersonic fingerprints, they're like 95, 98, 99. They're pretty damn accurate. You're gonna have the one off here and there. This one, man, I don't know. Did I scan my thumb the best ever on this one? It's possible. So that's my most underrated feature here. It always works, man. So we hit on some things I don't like. Let's just go over it really quickly. What I don't like, the cameras are not as good. Not saying they're bad. They're not as good as the S23 Ultra. The screen is not as good. Once again, not saying it's bad. It's just not better than the S23 Ultra. And the battery, not as good. I will say that is probably the biggest drawback of this phone. The battery. The battery is probably the biggest drawback of this phone. They need a bigger battery. Do they gotta make it thicker? Do they gotta make it taller? You know, folding it and just being a little taller, that's fine. I mean, this already has a really small form factor. I'm sure you could get away with half an inch more here. This way you can get a bigger battery. The full phone will be an inch more bigger, half an inch here, two sides, half and half, one, if you follow. But that's the biggest drawback, and the biggest plus for me in this phone is the foldability, the form factor, and then surprisingly that thumbprint here, which it opens the phone pretty much 99.9999, 100% of the time, man. So that would be my biggest 3 features on this phone, with the surprise bonus of the fingerprint scanner. Shout out to everybody rocking me on Instagram, YouTube, the Anchor app. You can also find me on Spotify, as well as Apple and Google Podcasts. And now I'm on TikTok. It's your boy Pat. Peace. Catch you in the next one.